Okay. The other thing we say is that friendship takes time. To put it in Aristotle's words, people are not true friends until they have eaten a bushel of salt together. A bushel is about the size of a sack. And how long do you think it would take you to eat a sack of salt? Pinch at a time. Quite a long time. Now again, it's one of the problems that's likely to happen with hormones, that unless you've had this conversation early, unless you've alerted your children to the fact that you can't be friends unless you've spent time together, they will think that the person they met yesterday is the one they're going to be with forever and ever and ever because they deeply love them. Now, I have to confess that the day I met my wife, that's exactly how I felt. But I didn't immediately act on it, and I did work through to at least a decent period of time, at least 5 months. But think about it. They need to know this, because there's no use having a conversation with somebody who's hormone affected. You've got to have it beforehand. And then, after all of that, you're ready to talk about married love. Finally, we're ready to get to the stage of saying that if you're a friend, friendship unfolds slowly, and bit by bit, you reveal more and more of yourself. You don't hand yourself over straight away. You gradually discover the mystery of who you are, and this usually proceeds by means of gift-giving, doesn't it? So, well, I don't know what it was in your day, but you started a relationship with the one you decided you wanted to pursue it with by handing over a small gift. Otherwise you would look desperate. Just one rose. Okay. And then after that, oh, she accepted it. Maybe I'll go further. And you give deeper and deeper and more meaningful gifts until the moment comes when you're ready to give the best gift you have. You. All of you. They need to know that this is what marriage is about. That it's the gift of yourself to another. And it proceeds bit by bit. And it's savoured moment by moment. And for the whole of your life, it continues to be that. I keep discovering things about my wife. And not just the annoying things. All the good things that keep on opening up. But it doesn't happen straight away. And when we say we have the gift of ourself to give, we can begin talking about the physical dimensions of that gift. We can talk about the physical sign of that gift in the sacrament of marriage. And we can start talking about the meaning of that physical sign, the sign of sexual intercourse. When I was doing this with my youngest son, I didn't even have to get explicit. Once I'd got to the point of saying, and you give the gift of yourself, and there's a physical sign of this, he said, I think I know what you're going to say. Okay? And he was right. But the fact is, it came in this context, and he got it. And it wasn't, bash, there it is, take it or leave it. What you're doing is you're creating the grand conversation in which it's understood properly. Then you get to the stage of talking about motherhood and fatherhood. And that's a scary moment, because they've been watching you for a long time, and they have opinions about your parenting style. And when you ask them the question of, no, this is something that goes with marriage very often, usually, that you have to express this love and keep giving more and more to others. They do get that, but they'll also have comments on how well you have succeeded or failed, but generally speaking it's rather affirming. Because what they'll have noticed, what they'll say to you about what they want to do as a parent is pretty much what you did. They will correct you on things. I'm not going to make my children do this. They're not going to be made to eat vegetables. But they will say, but no, I think they should be made to do their homework, and I think they should be, and so forth. And you'll start getting the positives as well as the backhanded compliments. So talking about motherhood and fatherhood does have to start coming into this conversation. The other question that needs to arise is one that I never thought I'd face. This one: should everyone be married? Because human beings are called to love as they are using their bodies, but not everybody gets married. Some do. Some, as single people, live their lives for God in very normal and sensible ways. Some people are called to priesthood or religious life. And it was a surprise to me that one of my sons said to me that he wanted to be a priest, and he's now in the seminary. And that's something I didn't see coming, and it's something you may not see coming either. In fact, I know a lady who lives not far from here who has a first-year seminarian son, and she definitely didn't see that coming. Okay? So be prepared for that one too. And then, of course, you can talk about the vocation that they're called to, and everyone has one. And I recall this vividly. When I started recently talking to one of my children about what they were going to do, the youngest son, he said, yes, I've decided what I want to do. He said, I want to be an astronaut. And I just looked blankly at him and said, do you think that's wise? And he said, no, but it was worth it seeing the look on your face. Okay. So they're entirely ready to take the mickey out of you. Just be prepared for that too. And then finally, after all that, we can start talking about what you thought this talk was about. The whole context is set, and now you can give the details because they fit in. You can talk about the fact that there's a male reproductive system and a female reproductive system, and you can give them whatever information you think they need. I'm not going to give it to you. I think you know this part. Okay? Now, I show this diagram because when I first put this together, I was mightily reluctant to put it in. It's a diagram of the menstruation, ovulation, fertility cycle in a woman. And it's people like Lisa Brick and Joan Clements who said, no, they need this information. And as a reluctant male, I said, why? And in our focus group of parents, the focus group split down the middle. Is this information necessary? All the women said yes, all the men said no. Okay. So I put it in, and it's a decision parents make for themselves as to whether they want to do it. And I'll say this, I've been stunned by the response of my sons. When I've talked about it, one of them looked at it and said, oh yeah, there's time for that, I don't want to know about it now. The other one looked at it and said, oh, is that all the information that you have? Can I have some more? So it's a matter of horses for courses. What do they need? What do they want? Sufficient information there for you to talk about these matters. And I suppose it might be surprising that I'm just scooting over the top of these, but it's because these aren't the most important things. The most important things are that they understand the context. Whatever details you need to fill in, that comes as they go along.